We can find a happy seated position. Turn my phone. And I've grabbed my chair right now. So allow yourself to feel happily seated.
You sit to start? Hang on.
Yeah, sure thing. Marcia, honey, I cannot see. So I don't know if you want to position your camera a little bit lower so that, because now I have a big screen, what I can do is I can make sure everybody's happy in your position. But you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm just letting you know that I can't see you if you want me to assist you in any way. Okay. So we find a happy seated position. Are you seated happily, everyone? Okay.
Yeah.
And just allow the hands to, the palms to find each other, and gentle friction between the palms. And then just feel the energy out in between the palms. And hello. And then allow the palms to find each other. And it doesn't matter if you can't reach overhead, just go as high as you can. And then the palms drop down in front of the body. And then allow the arms from the trickling muscles of the back to find their way up and to find the hands falling down in front of it. One more time. And then we'll stop with the hands, letting the hands drop in front of the sternum. And you might be able to feel the thumbs against the sternum. And now just allow the sternum to lift so that it just sort of, you have an impression that it's touching the skin. So what we're doing is really allowing the chest to gently open. And notice where your breathing is here, and we'll begin the class with 3 ohms. And I will cue you in with the words inhale. But for the second, just notice where your breath is. Notice if you're not softening anywhere. The conversation we have with our body is a gentle one. And inhale. And again, inhale. Just letting that om land in your body and noticing your breath. And inhale. Great. And let's begin. If you can, first of all, stand, because I think we've just been sitting for a little while. And then just allow your bottom to wiggle like a bunny all the way back down to the chair. Okay? Yeah. Just so that we get a little bit of movement after sitting for so long. So what we're going to do is we'll begin with a spinal series, okay, guys? Which is about lubricating the spine and also developing a softness through strength in the core. And what we're going to be doing through this is allowing for an expansion of the lower back, a strength and expansion of the lower back. And so let's all just begin together. You can either take your hands palm down on your lap, or they can be palms up, Palms up allows for a little bit more opening of the shoulders. Palms down is fine. It allows for more of a softness in the elbow. If your palms have trouble reaching your lap, do not hesitate to take a pillow or anything else to place on your lap to rest your hands if you're more comfortable. So the other aspect is just making sure your bottom's scooched enough to the edge of the chair. Yeah, just making sure your bottom's scooched enough to the edge of the chair. And I just, okay. So that your feet are on the floor is rising to meet the feet, and the chair is rising to meet the sit bones. So take a moment to feel the sit bones and feel where your breath is while I adjust the brightness of my monitor because I realize I might not have done it. And then from here, you just take a check of a soft belly that's surrendering, soft surrender belly. We have no problem with the way our belly feels. Well, if we do, we soften to it. Feels when it touches the thighs, and it invites us to have a softer communication there as opposed to a frustrated one. So abdomen softens as the sit bones land into the chair, and you feel an surrendering of the belly up as the lower back is allowed to spread and expand because we're giving over. We're surrendering the strength and the hardness. And then with this, we allow ourselves to notice the breeze across our chest, the breeze across our upper back, and the spaciousness between our underarms, under the underarms. And then with that, we allow again the stomach being the cue, the belly being the cue to soften as the sit bones roll back. And you can start small, and as the hip bones roll forward. And all this movement begins with the softness in the belly so that the lower back can spread and expand. And as a consequence, what's happening is we have a consequential undulation in the spine that lubricates the ligaments, softens the muscles, and allows for flexibility and strength, true strength moving. And you might notice as the geometry of the body changes, as we're listening to our sit bones rolling, as this geometry and curves change, you'll notice that there's an subtlety in the body's breathing to want to maybe inhale as we're rolling the hip bones forward and rolling the weight. It seems the body wants to do an exhale. So just notice this kind of line. We're not manipulating anything, we're just and we're exploring. It's all born of listening to the contact between the sit bones and the chair that's tied to the softness and surrendering of the belly into this gorgeous pelvic abdominal cradle. As we're moving through this motion, I'm just going to remind you of the softness that we experience in the belly not only allows for the lower back to expand and the muscles of the lower back to educate itself so that we can begin to move outside of the trappings of lower back pain. But the other aspect of trying to recognizing when we harden the belly and allowing it to soften and surrender is the softness of the belly allows the diaphragm to move down into the abdominal cavity, which then directly affects the volume of breath that we're able to take in. So this cultivation of the softness of the belly as opposed to disappointment of not having a hard belly and hardening or having a hard belly, if that's not giving over to softness, directly affects our breathing and our capacity to breathe. And we'll do 3 more full breath cycles here as the movement is rippling, undulating through the body just by listening to the sit bones and the softness of the belly, this concept of our body is moving through nectar, moving through ambrosia. And then we come to neutral, and then just notice here, whatever comes to you, the settling of this movement, the transformation of this movement, the infinite impact of the movement that we've just done. And then you allow the arms to fly up out from the back as high as you can, meaning when I say as high as you can, meaning it's not about reaching. Only go as high as you feel comfortable. So that could be here, that could be here, but the essence is the same. This is that coming out from an extension of the muscles from the back, and the softness of the belly allows it to happen in an integrated way. And we'll do this again. And this is called Urdhva Hasana. And soft under the arms as the arms elongate as they come down. Belly stays soft to allow for that deep integration along the spine and the chest and the neck. Beautiful. And now we will stay. If you need to stand for a second, that's perfectly fine. Stand for 1 second, and then once again, you can do a little bunny shake, and then you can bunny shake down into the chair. Perfect. Now sitting again at the edge of the chair, allowing the feet and the knees to part gently so that you're on a nice V. That's a comfortable V. It's not an overstretched V, but it's a natural V. And the knees might be a little bit wider than the hips. And then the hands also, again, you can do what you want with it. If you need a pillow, that's perfectly fine. And once again, you might need to sit towards the edge of the chair so that your feet are comfortably touching the floor, rising to meet the floors, rising to meet the feet. And so you still feel the sit bones comfortably descending into the chair, and the abdomen not collapsed, but just soft and surrendering into the pelvic cavity. And once again, spaciousness throughout the body as we shift, as the weight shifts to your left hip bone, your left sit bone, and you feel that weight shifting. And then allow the other sit bone to take on the weight. And then sit bone left, sit bone right. And this is a gentle swaying that's born of a deep connection of the alignment of the sit bone to the chair and the softness of the belly that allows for spreading of the lower back, movement in the hips to be softer and more fluid, reverberant connection softens the belly. And you only allow your undulation to be to the point that you are comfortable and can stay connected with that soft belly, expansive lower back as we stay listening to the shifting weight between the six. And this is I call this the rhythm. And so again, you might find that the body has its own cycle here naturally for a gentle inhale. Then the body comes more to straight. And then as it's going over the geometry of the upper torso region, you might find that there's a desire for the body to be gentle. You experiment with that on your own. Because that's the natural phrasing of the body, when the body's geometry is changing. And you can go as fast as you like or as slow as you like, as long as you can stay, as long as you're keeping that conversation close between the softness of the belly and the hip points. Sit. So it's a lengthening of the opposite bone into the chair. And a lengthening. And that lengthening chair happens healthily and in good alignment because the belly is soft and not aggravating the lower back. And because the hip creases are soft. And we'll do 3 more cycles in your own time, whatever that is for you. More coming to me. And finally, just taking stock of that conversation once again with yourself and the body's conversation with itself. And that your mind in this conversation is kind observer. Your intellect is a kind observer as opposed to a and a mother is a kind observer and inviter. So take a moment to have a stand up. And once again, from here. And Gail, if you need to stay sitting, that's perfectly fine. We're just going to do another Urdhva Hastasana, just for relief. And then we're going to come back down to the chair. So once again, Urdhva Hastasana, as high as you can go. The arms ascend out from the lower to the upper back, and through the connection of the upper back, the arms extend. And when the arms come down, it's because they're elongating out. So they're coming out and down. It's a joyful movement because it's an elational movement. And again, the rising of our arms is not just up, but it begins with this emanation of energy moving out from the back through the arms. And even though we're moving up, we continue to move out. And again, elation takes our expansive back out as the arms come down. And it's elation through the muscles of the lower back, moving out, that allows the arms to come up in beautiful strength and alignment. And we're doing something now that is very common in the understanding of a senior ballerina. And these concepts of connection are beautiful, beautiful. And then softening this hip crease, softening the belly. We can then wiggle like the bunny wiggle down to the chair again. Perfect. And I'll just remind everybody, but most folks don't need reminding, that these arms are not just arms connected to the shoulder. If we think of our arms just connected to the shoulder, this is where we get injury. This is where we get malalignment. So what we invite ourselves to remember is that the arms are actually connected to the lower back with a series of muscles in different layers closer and closer to the spine, where the arms from the upper arm muscles connect into the lower back and spine until they converge here. Okay, so we are reliant on not just our arms and our muscles of our arms, but we're relying on the convergence of all of these layers of muscles down to the spine, through the back body, and through the side body. Because some of these muscles wrap around the side body, and in so doing, they ignite the muscles between the rib cage. So this is not just, again, about moving the arms and how we're moving the arms. It translates to how we have capacity for our breath, which is so essential for everybody, not just when you have a health condition that involves lungs. So let us now, we're going to do one more spinal series exercise. And that is, again, find yourself happily on the chair, bottom on the chair. I'm going to turn a little bit sideways for this one, so bottom on the chair, feet right, the floor rises to meet the feet. And when that happens, you can feel the belly soften and the hip creases soften as the skin of the lower back spreads nicely. And then a softness that trickles up and a spaciousness that trickles up across the chest, across the upper back and under the arms and behind the neck. And once again, we are in nectar. We feel the air on our skin. Once again, our attention is taken to the sit bones and the contact of the sit bones on the chair. And the weight of the sit bones leans to your left side, and then we feel once on the left side, the weight is shifting towards the front. While the weight is in the front, we're having another side transfer, and then the weight is shifting to the back of the sit bone. And then when we get to the back, we're having another weight shift transfer. And this is a very soothing movement. So if we let our attention land into the relation of the sit bones with the chair, and then all the other movement that happens through the spine is a causality of that relationship of the shifting hip sit bones to the chair. And again, the belly is soft and surrendering to that beautiful pelvic abdominal cradle, so that no matter what the shape of our body, the back can find release and peace and expansiveness and spaciousness. And that's what we're staying connected with, not how the movement looks to somebody on the outside. And the more we practice these concepts, the more mobility that we will get, and the more that these movements will look larger and larger. But that's not the point. The point is for this cultivation of this deep, intricate relationship with these very tiny muscles that should be the leader of strength in the bodies, and are what the body relies on for a happy alliance between the joints and the bones. And so we continue in this. Listen with the skin of our arms and our back as our focus drops into the sit bone and is protected by the soft, surrendering belly. And when you are happy to, you can change the evolution of the movement so that we start transferring weight in the other direction, but with the same paradigm that the weight is shifting from side to side, then to the back, and then to the other side, and then to the front. But all this is about pleasure and listening and having a growing relationship with your body in these very intrinsic and important ways, and ways that create energy and ways that relieve stress and pain on the body. And release. And the eyes stay looking forward. And then here I'll just say something about the breath again. So as the body geometry is changing, we'll find that the body wants to naturally take a slight inhale on the stretch forward and an exhale as the front of the body goes concave. So a gentle inhale, incline perhaps. Gentle inhale and a gentle exhale. And this is really called Sufi's grind, but I don't like that. So I've changed it to Sufi evolution. It's all right, paths are made by walking. Okay. And then when you feel comfortable, find yourself winding down to a neutral place. And in your own time. And then just sit with yourself, be with yourself, be with these new relationships. Notice where there's clenching, and again, your mind, your intellect is an observer, and is a kind observer, and an inviter, a gentle inviter, inviting the relationship to find spaciousness, wherever you find clenching, wherever you find pain. Beautiful. And once again, we will soften the hips, knees, soften the front of the ankles to find standing. Hooray! Okay. So good. We're making good time despite a late start, which is terrific. So one thing that I would like to share with everybody, and Gail, you can please do this sitting if you will. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Please shout out. And Marcia, if you start to have pain in your feet, let me know. Okay.
Okay.
Good. So this can be done in a doorway. This can be done seated. This can be done holding onto a chair if you feel comfortable. And what we're doing, can everybody see my feet from where we are? You can't really see me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay. Okay. Good. So, there's the camera. I'm forgetting because I've got my USB-C port has decided to be happy today, so it's allowing itself to recognize the monitor today. So I've got a monitor so I can see everybody, but usually not. So I'll go on a little bit maybe so you see I'm not exactly looking at the camera sometimes because I'm not used to it. I'm looking at you guys over there. So this is a building block. This is a building block exercise that I'm going to record for folks to do each day. It's going to be part of the building blocks for a beautiful day series, and this one will be called feet, ankles, knees, and hips. And so we start with a gentle bend. And Gail, you're accommodating for yourself sitting, right? So
Yeah.
you can actually have your legs
And accommodate.
out, and then soften the back of the knees to draw your knees in. Soften behind the knees to bend, and allow the back of the knees to gently yawn open. Soft knees, soft hip creases as we gently bend. And I'm going to have everybody start together. So here we go. You can take my cues because this is very simple, but it's very powerful and important for a number of reasons. Neural circulation, strength, and again, we're always listening to our abdomen in its softness to cue the softness in our back. So we begin from the beginning, and the first layer is about flexion. Soft flexion behind the knees, soft flexion over the ankles, soft flexion in the hip. And then gently allowing the yawning open behind the knees. And then once you land again, we soften behind the knees, soften, hips soften in the front of the ankles, the knees back to the and then behind the knees, front of the hips, yawn open, and then gently soften in front of the knees, front of the hips, really soft, stay for a moment, and then gently yawning from behind the knees. And then one last time. And we're listening. It's all about listening again. And the intellect is once again a kind observer and gentle inviter. Beautiful. And now we transition to phase 2. And phase 2 is gently allowing the weight to shift onto the balls of the feet and the heels to rise. And then gently listening through the feet as the heels descend. And again, the weight shifting onto the balls of the feet as the heels peel off naturally. And as the feet pull back into the floor, expansion. And then once again, shifting the weight onto the balls of the feet. This is a beautiful thing to do every morning before you're on your way to brush your teeth. And we're listening. And we're increasing circulation, we're increasing neural connections, which are so important for moving through space and moving efficiently through space. And that's very important if you have a heart-lung condition. And last is the fifth one. Heels peeling up off the floors. Again, if you want to stay up here for a second because it's so wonderful to have a bird's eye view of the world, you can stay here. And then when you're ready, you can allow the heels to gently find their way back to the floor. And now just feel the expansion of weight across your feet. Beautiful. And now we combine these two in phase 3. So phase 3 is softening behind the knees, softening in front of the ankles, softening in the hip creases. And we know that we're having this conversation with ourselves about our belly and the spreading of our lower back. And then here, and everybody, we're doing this together. The heels. Now we're going to pay attention to the shifting of the weight onto the balls of the feet as the heels peel off, even though we're in this bent position. And now we're going to yawn the back of the knees open so we're on our toes as our body descends and our feet find their way back across the floor again. And now the second one, because we're going to do 5 of each. So again, soft behind the knees, soft in front of the hips, soft in front of the ankles as the lower back skin spreads. Here we feel the beauty of the movement. And if you'd like, you can try Utkatasana. If you remember what Utkatasana is, you can bring your arms overhead if you want. That's up to you. And then bring the arms down. We let the weight shift to the balls of the feet as the heels rise. The back of the knees yawn upwards. And again, we're out to go up. Beautiful. And as the heels lower the feet, heel back onto the floor. Beautiful. And we take the third one, soft behind the knees, soft in front of the ankles. Knees are coming right over the toes, soft in the hips. Again, if you want here, you can take Utkatasana with one hand or two, and then allow the hands to come down again. And here we let the weight shift onto the balls of the feet, knees forward, and we come stretching up onto the toes. And again, if you want to enjoy the view from where you are, before you allow the heels to descend into the ground and find neutral again. And here we go, fourth one, you guys are fantastic! So again, softening of the hip creases, softening of the behind the knees, in front of the ankles. That beautiful conversation that we have with our belly and our back. You can move into Utkatasana with the beautiful spaciousness of the underarms. Beautiful, and allowing them to come down again. And then allowing the weight to shift onto the balls of the feet as the heels gently peel. And the backs of the knees yawn up through the spine. You can enjoy your perch again up here because it really does lift the heart. Take a different view. And heels back to the floor. Last time. Soft knees, soft hip creases, soft front of the ankles. Beautiful. Here you can take Utkatasana. You can feel, if you want while you're here, the difference between a little bit more weight on your heels versus the center versus the balls of the feet. And then the arms can come down as we shift the weight to the balls of the feet, heels peeling off the floor. Yes, and then the back of the knees yawning up through the spine and down. Shake your legs out, please, because you've done such hard work. Great. Are you ready for the fourth phase, the fourth and final phase?
We're ready.
Okay, great. Perfect. If you want, you can do this before we start, everyone. You can just lift your heels, click, 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 just to kind of like loosen up, get the meat shaking off the bones a bit. If you just to get some release some tension, because I know everybody was trying so hard. So fourth and final phase is simply going in the opposite direction. So what we do is the weight in our happy stance, our weight shifts to the ball of the feet as the heels peel up off the floor. And here we are, beautiful perch you see all around us. And here we are. Our knees are going to soften forward. Whoa, awesome. And now we're here, bending our knees on the ball of our feet, and then the heels drop down to the floor. And again, here we can take Utkatasana if you would like. You don't have to. And then as your arms come down, you can let the backs of the knees yawn up through the spine. Beautiful. Second one. You guys are too awesome. And the weight shifts onto the balls of the feet as the heels peel up off the floor. And we see the perch from our perch, the world around us from a little bit of a different point of view. The knees up here soften forward, as do the hip creases. And then we allow the heels to descend to the floor as we get a bend in the ankles. And here again, you can take Utkatasana, which is a very strengthening pose. And as we move out of Utkatasana, with yawning behind the backs of the legs, the arms can move out and down. And again, weight shifting onto the balls of the feet as the heels peel off the floor. We find a new angle of life, and we soften behind the knees and soften in the hips. You can hold it here for a second if you want. This is while you're practicing this at home. And then softly the feet find the ankles, find the heels back onto the floor. Once again, you can do Utkatasana here. Arms lifting up if you like. And then backs of the knees yawning through the spine as the hands come down. Last time, weight shifting forward, heels peeling up off the floor through the body, and knees softly bending forward as the heels gently descend to the floor. And here you can do Uttanasana if you like. And then rising up through the spine. Stand. Beautiful. So I'm going to take this moment to ask you if there's any comments at all.
No comment.
Not going to incriminate myself.
Listen, there's no incrimination whatsoever going on here. But I'd love to, if you have any observations, I think that would be wonderful, because usually somebody's observations are usually important for everyone else to hear. So, but if you don't have any, that's perfectly fine. Did anybody find this unreasonably difficult right now? Okay,
No.
but it was challenging. Am I wrong?
Yeah, sweaty.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody had a problem with heart rate or catching one's breath. Good, good. Because these exercises again are self-paced and they actually target where the way that they're built into what our schema of class is so that they enhance the parasympathetic, which is invoking of relaxation and a slower heartbeat and a deep and a nice relaxed breath. Great. I thought we could try something different today in terms of Marichyasana. We usually do Marichyasana like this. I was wondering if we can do that today still, but do folks have difficulty with their knees bending to be put on a chair?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. No problem. Let us then, because that's something that we can work on in the future, so I will keep that in mind to get us there for future. So let us do Marichyasana as we normally do, with the chair and the back of the chair facing forward. Hold on, because some folks I want to. If you have a strap, a band, or a towel, you can use this. Or if you you don't have to, but let me just show for folks that are new. We're going to have our happy seated Tadasana as we use our belly, expansive back. Arms rise up out of the back, flowing, beautiful open under the arms. And we listen to the sit bones as above the navel, we turn. And then the arms come down. So if your arms can't get together, I was suggesting that you can get a towel, you can use a strap, and that could be very helpful. And I certainly don't want anybody to feel frustrated. If you feel frustrated, then that's a really good signal that there's something different that could be done, either through listening to your body or through introducing a prop like a towel. So let us begin. So chair, facing your screen, or if not, you don't have to. That is somewhere nice. Again, the arms rise up out of the body. We're doing all our beautiful relational listening and inviting through the body, the abdomen, the feet, on the floor. And from here, Notice the shape, the change in geometry, and how that influences where the breath is. The breath is maybe longer here. And then from here, we allow the sit bones to stay connected to the chair because that's so important. Sit bones dropping into the chair, which protects the lower back, as from above the navel, we are doing a slight twist and you don't go further. Then the sit bones can be happily descending into the chair because otherwise we're twisting our lower back, and that's not good. So soft elbows, soft underarms, and the hands come to the back of the chair. Notice where your breathing is here. Notice where your sit bones are. That's the most important thing right now, is that the sit bones are, for the most part, equally descending into the chair so that the lower back stays spreading and not twisting. You're only twisting from the upper part of your body. And this is what we all need in the Western world to learn. Soft through the body, soft upper arms, underarms, soft above the arms, the shoulder meets, soft behind the neck and the chin. Just notice where your breathing is. And you can even feel the breath changing your connection, your sensation of the sit bones in the chair. You'll notice that there's perhaps waves of pressure, infinite waves of pressure, as the breath gently moves in and the breath gently moves out. But that is an ever ongoing continual sensation. And when you're ready, the elbows soften, then they stay soft, the underarms soften, and you just yawn up gently, and then allow an upward movement in our untwisting, and then a softness to our arms as they come down. Hi, Violet! Oh, sweet Violet. Okay, and then we can do the other side. Again, here we are again. Other side, and again we do our little, not little, it's a very important part, and it's the basis of what we're doing, and this is yoga, the way we listen to ourselves, the way we listen and we respond kindly to our bodies, and find the spaciousness of our bodies and kindness, kind observation, and gentle invitation as the arms float up through the back, through the spine, and beautiful spaciousness in the arms, softness in the meaty bits about the shoulders. And we feel our spine moving up as our body above the navel gently twists as we are releasing so gently and attentively the falling sit bones into the chair. And exhale, hands come down. Notice where the breath is. Notice the contact the sit bones are making. Softness of the belly where the head comes back as the breath gently leaves. Breath gently leaves.
Your microphone's died.
It's done! Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's gone again. It's gone.
It's on. Ah.
Yeah, no, it's back again, but it's intermittent.
You know, it's a new thing for me, huh? And beautiful. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for that. And then just notice the beating of the breath gently in waves between the sit bones and the chair and anywhere else that your attention happens to notice this. Underarms, and then gently, again, the arms rise up from out of the back. And as we move up through the body, the upper torso unwinds back to neutral, and then down. Beautiful. Sit here for a moment. Feel what's occurred through the body because of this very challenging movement. Intellectually, it's very challenging. It really challenges our ability to converse with our bodies, and that's where yoga lies. And just notice. So let's try it again on the other side. Beautiful. So the most important aspect keying into this movement is our attention of the sit bones dropping into the chair. And then from there, all the other layers of communication can follow in and on from there. But the safety mechanism is the first and most important mechanism. The safety mechanism because we're protecting our lower back. And that sensation, once again, is the sit bones and their connection and their dropping, descending into the chair. And once again, Ardha Hastasana, and up through the muscles of the back, softening from the underarms across the front of the chest, and softening the meaty bits between the neck and the upper arm, those hunchy bits. And from here, the upper torso moves up to twist, staying in communication with the sit bones only as far as the wisdom of your body tells you to go. And from here, you can allow the hands to descend to the back. And just feel the breath here. Starting with the relationship of the sit bones and the spine. Very important. Notice where it is in your belly if you want. Notice where the breath might be under your shoulder. Feet gently under your shoulder. And then again, rippling up through the spine, arms elevate, and continue that rippling up through the spine, the upper torso unfolds to neutral. And even though we're going to descend the arms, they're traveling up through the spinal muscles. And then we sit here just for a moment to feel as we settle, to feel the myriad of sensations, one after the other, evolving, settling, expanding, dropping. And where are our brain cells? Are our brain cells dropping into our body as well? And other side. Yeah. There we go. Find ourselves sitting happily in the chair. In seated Tadasana. Tada is mountain. Tadasana, mountain pose. And here we sit. Again, arms rise up out of the back and side body. And we notice where's the breath here. Relationship. Sit bones into the chair. Soft belly as the spinal muscles ripple through the body as the upper body twists and sleeps. That's provided by the sit bone connection to the chair. And we go as far as it tells us to. And inhale, feel the arms come down to the back of the chair. Again, protected by the sit bones. Into the chair. And just notice. And in this safe position, you can enjoy the conversation of your muscles on your arms, the opportunity to soften the chunky muscles up in your shoulder. Allowing them maybe to spread. And maybe just thinking about the edge of those shoulders. As the arms and elbows move out to the walls on either side of you. And exhale, and then inhale as the arms rise up. And then softly, just allow ourselves to feel just where we are, and maybe to notice the expanding and the settling and that's come as a result of that has run through our body. Observations. Team Guru. No observations? Okay. You guys are awfully quiet today like this. Okay. Beautiful. So we have 7 minutes. With 7 minutes, we can do one more pose, which is downward facing dog we'll do, or which is Ardha Mukha Shavasana, or we can do a short chant, or we can do a long chant. So now you're going to have to speak up because the choice is yours.
Short chant.
Short.
Long chant.
So we have one long chant, one short chant, and Urdhva Hastasana. Not Urdhva Hastasana, Urdhva Mukha Shavasana. All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a short Urdhva Mukha Shavasana. And so for Gail, your Urdhva Mukha Shavasana is going to be with a table in front of you or a chair in front of you, and you're going to stay seated, okay?
All right.
And you are going to be moving from your hip bones like this.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. And for everybody else, you can either, if you want, you can use the mat, or most folks, I'd be so pleased if you used a chair or the wall. If you're using a chair, it has to be up against something that's immovable, like this piece of furniture. And what you're going to do is hands are going to come down and you're going to walk your feet out and let your underarms yawn and lower back expand. And the same is true if you're doing this at the wall. Hands walk down, walk out, looking down, shining the butt out, yawning the underarms out, soft neck, and then you're going to walk in. If you are somebody who wants to do it on the mat, you're going to start from all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. You're going to tuck the toes under. As the butt travels back and the hip creases soften and deepen, deepen and soften, deepen and soften. As the butt shines up and the underarms yawn out. And then to come down, you're going to soften behind the knees as the weight shifts forward and then soften. Okay, I'm going to do it with the chair so everybody can see. Okay? All right. So if you would like to start, if you're on a mat, perfect. You know what to do with hands and knees. If you are doing the chair or the wall or the seated chair, Arms come up to Urdhva Hastasana, and then just allow the knees to bend forward. This is one way of many to get into this pose. And then the hands come down to the chair, heel of the hands into the chair or against the wall. Step back, watching your toes as the arms yawn forward and your butt shines back so that the skin across the lower back stretches and your hip bones. Remember how your sit bones, how they were on the chair? Now it's as if there was a wall behind them. Your sit bones are pressing against that wall as the arms yawn, as the belly is soft and surrendering to the abdominal cavity. Lower back is expanding. The neck is long and soft. And then to come out, slide bend of the knees. Watch your toes, watch your feet as they walk forward. Walk forward for safety. And if you need to walk forward again, keep watching the floor. And then coming back up. And we'll do it one more time. Any questions? Any need for help?
Nope.
Okay. Take whichever way that you want to do it. I'm going to do it again with the chair. And we're going to do Urdhva Hastasana. Arms above. Soften the knees if you're using the chair or the wall. And then the arms come down, heels of the hand against the edge of the chair or the wall. And we watch our feet as we step back. Step back. If you want to step back a little bit more, that's fine. And then the weight shifts onto the feet as the belly is soft, the lower back expands, and the underarms are healed. As we feel the side body stretching, as we feel the belly softly surrendering in order to expand the lower back, the lower back. And then just bend, walk in, walk in. When you need to walk in, you can switch with the feet. Slight bend as you roll up through the spine. Hooray! Down
Hey,
facing dog. Whoop whoop. Okay. So now let's do a chant. Any questions?
no question.
Okay. Shall we let's do Waheguru. Is that good? Waheguru, 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 Wahegio. We usually have very healing chants, but we need something short and easy to learn. And this is a very excitable one. This is an energetic one. Waheguru means great guru, or everything is guru, and guru is expansive. And in this one, what we're doing is we're letting our arms rest. If you want a pillow, perfectly fine. Take a pillow so you can rest your forearms in the pillow if you prefer, if it's easier for you. Finding a happy seated position, and basically the point is to try to stay soft under the arms, soft in the belly, soft in the elbow creases as we're going to do this at the same time. Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. Beautiful. And what we're doing is, so we're staying expansive and soft under the arms and in the elbows, so that we are, even though we're moving from the appendages, we are doing it in an integrated way as the belly stays soft. And this is so important for everything we do, from washing the dishes to moving a pot to vacuuming, hoovering. Waheguru, 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 Wahegio. And as we're saying this, let those sounds be small and let them reverberate in the mouth. So Waheguru, 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 Wahegio, Waheguru, 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 Wahegio, Waheguru, 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 Wahegio, Waheguru, 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 Wahegio, wahekuru, 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 wahegio. Feeling achy in the upper arms. Notice if you've got enough space in under the arms, and take a little bit of spaciousness under the arms. Waheguru, 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 wahegio. Beautiful. Let us wrap it up after 3 more, and woo, you can shake it out. So this is really lovely because it talks about like Vaheguru, the largest teacher, the greatest teacher, and it's in everything. And it's everything we see, everything that we do, it reverberates. Um, there's lessons all around us, and there's lessons through nature. So it's a really gorgeous, it's energetic though. And so uh, shall we close with some ohms, and then we discuss whatever you guys want. So palms fall together and blessings on each of us, and may every little movement that we do, every little breath that we take, magnify the light of the world and provide uplift to even those. Namaste. Any thoughts? Anything that you guys want to share?
Very different to anything I've done before.
Is that a good way or?
Good way, an interesting way.
Okay, great. Any other? Is it something that you'd want to do more of, or is there anything in there that you wanted to do more of?
I enjoyed the change. I've been doing yoga off and on for 50 years. It's become more gentle as I've got older, and so has my teacher.
Uh,
It's just hatha yoga now.